controversial issue. A lot of Conservative backbenchers don't like the idea of vaccine passports, some on grounds of ethics. And the SNP and the Labour Party have been commenting today too. Certainly the SNP and Labour are sceptical. Ian Blackford, who's a Westminster leader of the Scottish Nationalists, has tweeted this in the last hour or so. The UK government hasn't published any firm proposals on COVID certificates, and the Tory position has been mired in confusion and contradiction. On the basis of the information available, SNP MPs would not support Tory plans due to serious concerns over ethics. Now, I've spoken to Mr Blackford in the last hour. Actually, he's quite busy in his home on Skye with lambing season, with lambs being born, but he did tell me that he was very, very sceptical, in particular about people needing vaccine passports to get into the inside of pubs and restaurants. So the SNP with a similar position to Labour, but remember, when we get the full details, which we have not had yet, that position could change. Mr Blackford also telling me he wants the UK government to work with devolved administrations like the Scottish Welsh and Northern Irish governments to try and work together. Perhaps he's suggesting a sort of UK policy as opposed to having different policies in different parts of the UK. Keir Starmer, visiting Plymouth today, didn't have a particularly different opinion. This is what he had to say.
I don't think the government knows what its plan is. One day it's to cover pubs, the next day it's not. One day it's a vaccine passport, the next day it's a certificate. One day it's a certificate, the next day it's a test. We've seen this before with track, trace and isolate. Grand plans that don't deliver cost a fortune and very often land with contracts to friends and colleagues of the Conservative Party. We've seen too much of that cronyism, so we do not support these plans in their current form.
So both the Labour and SNP leaders at Westminster suggesting today they'll vote against the government if they do bring such a plan. But of course, we have not seen the details of the plan. The government have not set out how a vaccine passport system would work domestically. And therefore, Kimberley, I think both the SNP and Labour have the wiggle room to change their minds and effectively back the government if the new plans are put forward and the proposals aren't necessarily as significant as some reports have so far suggested.